my hobbies, my pandemic hobbies, of which there are becoming an increasing number. So today's class, we're going to focus on alignment and lines of force, and really trying to feel that when we're in a stacked position, you can feel the force travel down your body. So when you're pushing into the floor, you can feel like your feet are going up into the air. And when you're, doing all these drills, that's why we're going to have the band. But let's get started, and then we'll get into all that stuff on alignment. And yeah, let's get onto your mat. And let's just start with active hands. And again, keep this in mind when you're doing your handstands outside, that how you interact with the surface is really important, because everything else is built on that foundation. So just begin by focusing on the points of contact on the floor. So feel the heel of your hand press into the floor. Okay, both sides, the thumb side, the pinky side. Then feel that outside edge along by the pinky, feel that press down into the floor. And then feel all your knuckles press down into the floor. And just feel like it's like the whole palm of your hand, right, is all just kind of pressing down into the floor. Slight bend in your fingers, and then just think about gripping the floor with your fingertips. So this is as much hand on the floor as you can. Then you're going to push down into the floor. Bring your shoulders so that they're over your hands. And then we're just going to gently screw our hands into the floor. So push down, gently screw your hands as if you're turning them out slightly towards your pinky. And you'll feel that come up through your elbows, and you should feel that in your shoulder. And this is our active wrist, active hand position. So we're just going to start rocking gently back and forward. And begin to make it a little bit more active. So we rock forward, press with your fingers, and rock back, forward and back. And let's come into a nice forward position. So you should be feeling a little bit of a stretch here and a little bit of a work on this side. You might be feeling something on this side of your forearms, and that's just, you're holding some tension to prevent yourself from, falling even further forward. And we'll just push from side to side. Just feeling, your fingers pressing into the floor pushing you over to the side. If you're on a soft mat, you might feel, some sinking into the mat. If you're on a harder surface with your hands, you might feel a little bit more reaction from the mat. It's pushing from one side over to the other. Good. Turn your fingers out to the side, pressing down, and then again, pushing side to side. And as you lean to one side, still feel like you've got that heel of your hand down and you've got your knuckle down on the floor. And then push with your fingers over to the other side. And then pushing over. Good. And then turn your fingers all the way to face your knees. Pressing down with the heel of your hand into the floor. And then sitting back. You should feel a nice stretch all the way up the back of your forearms here. And just move very nice and slow, very gently, kind of in and out of that position. And notice if as you do this gentle rocking, you can stretch a little further each time. And then we're going to peel our hands off the floor. So this time sitting back, let the heel of your hands lift. Bend at your elbows. Get that stretch through your fingers, through your hands. And just peel your hands off the floor. Open and close a few times. And then flip your hands over. And we'll go back to the hands on the floor. And sitting back here. And just a few times rocking gently back and forward in this position. Shake that out. So we're going to stay on our hands and knees. Hands under our shoulders, knees under our hips. And we're going to just do some shoulder movements, some scapular movements. So first thing is just think about squeezing your shoulder blades together, letting yourself almost drop towards the floor. So it's like your chest is moving down, your arms are staying locked out, and you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. And then you're going to push the floor away and feel yourself move away from the floor. So we're just going to go back and forward a few times. Good. Now we're going to find a middle position between those two. So we're not fully pushed out, we're not fully squeezed together, somewhere in the middle. And then we're going to think about moving our shoulders up and down. So we're going to move our shoulders up towards our ears. And then we're going to move our shoulders down towards our back pockets. So up towards your ears, down towards your back pockets. Now your head stays in the same place as you're doing this. And the nice way the easiest way, I think, to keep your head in the same place is to keep your focal point in the same place on the floor. So just looking at the floor, you know, if your head moves, typically you would have to make an adjustment to keep your focal point in the same place. So if your head's staying still, it's easy to keep that focal point. And now we're going to make these into circles. So we're going to push into the floor, bring your shoulders up towards your ears, drop down, squeeze your shoulder blades together, pull your shoulder blades back towards your back pockets or down, press into the floor again, and then coming back up towards your ears. Now just start making circles. So you're going nice and smoothly around those 4 positions. And if you get confused at any point, just stop, reset, and kind of do those 4 positions again. You know, initially it starts almost like a square, and then we smooth it out into the circle. Let's go the other direction. I was teaching with Gail at a workshop once, and I made her do this movement really, really slowly. And I completely got her confused, and she had to kind of shake it out and reset. I think I was making it a little more complicated as well, because I was making her do one shoulder at a time or something. But yeah, sometimes you just need to shake it out and go back to the individual movements. Perfect. Shake that out. We're going to give your forearms a little bit of a rest. You can grab your chair or bench. I'm going to do a little shoulder stretch before we get into our alignment drills. Okay, so we're basically going to do positional isometrics. So holding the stretch for 30 seconds, then performing an isometric contraction by pushing down into the bench or chair, then relaxing, holding the stretch for another 30 seconds, and then another 10 seconds pushing down, and then one more 30 seconds. So it's almost 2 minutes. We're going to be in the position. So make sure you're comfortable. either hands or elbows on the bench. If your elbows hyperextend, I highly recommend going all the way to elbows. We're going to start with ribs down. So pulling your ribs down, tucking your butt. So you've got a nice flat back. You want to sit back as far as you can and feel that stretch through here. So through your lats, through your shoulders, your butt is directing towards the wall behind you. So really trying to lengthen. Once you get as much stretch as you can through your lats, let your chest drop down towards the floor. We'll get a little bit more extension through your upper back. And then we're just going to chill out here. So when you're just hanging out in a stretch, right, you want to be doing it mindfully. So you want to be doing it with awareness of what you're feeling, where you're feeling a stretch. It might be that after, 10 or so seconds in a position, you're actually not feeling a stretch anymore. And you can just allow yourself to go a little bit deeper, or allow yourself to move a little further into position, or adjust the position slightly. So nice to be doing this mindfully. From here, we're going to press your arms down into the bench. So pushing down with your arms or hands, whatever's on the bench, you're just going to push down. Do that for about 10 seconds. 8, 9, 10. We'll slowly release that. And then take a nice deep breath. First of all, we're going to sit back as far as we can. So we lengthen, and then we're going to let our chest drop down. And if you're getting pins and needles in your hands, or you feel like you're losing all the blood flow in your hands, you can move your fingers around, but you can also just come out of the stretch if you need to at any point. They say 2 minutes in a stretch is a good amount of time to make changes. But there's good evidence that doesn't need to be consecutive. So you can come out of the stretch and then go back into the stretch, and just accumulate that total time in the position. Good. One more time, pressing down. So again, we'll ramp this up. So start gently pressing your arms down into the bench and start pressing a little harder and harder until you've got that really nice isometric pushing down. And one more time, slowly stop pushing into the bench. Take a deep breath, sitting back as far as you can, and then dropping your chest down. And just really getting that nice stretch in your shoulders. Stretching should always feel like that nice stretching sensation, and not like pinching or sharp pain, or even nervy pain is not what you want to be feeling in these positions. And if you're ever not sure, if you're ever like, oh, I can't tell if this is a good pain or a kind of icky pain, come out, or on the side of caution, come out of the stretch. And then press down, come out. And it can often, even just reflecting on it in the position, like, do I actually feel unsafe? Do I feel like I'm going to break myself, or does it just feel uncomfortable? And just asking yourself those questions while you're in the stretch can be really helpful. So come out of the stretch, put your chair to the side, and let's shake it out a little bit. Okay, so you can circle your arms a few times. We should be able to get into a really good alignment now. So the thing with alignment is it's not necessarily a static position, and it's not limited to straight positions. So you can have alignment in all your different, like if you're doing a tuck handstand, there's a certain alignment that you're looking for. If you're doing a press to handstand. It's a dynamic movement, but there's alignment that is going to be most efficient as you're doing that movement. In our handstands, the most efficient position is going to be that completely stacked alignment. And good alignment is really just allowing different parts of your body to work together in the most efficient way. So if I'm doing my handstand and I've got my hands here, my shoulders over here, and my hips over here, as I'm pushing, there's all these different angles and forces, and things are not necessarily working together to make it feel as good on each joint as possible. And I might be putting more strain on certain parts of my body than I need to. So we're just really working with making things work as efficiently as possible. And the other side of alignment is, if you're stacked in a straight line and you apply a force straight down, that force is going to come straight up. It's going to come up through your shoulders. It's going to come up through your torso, and it's going to come up through your hips. And it's going to be in that one line that all pushes you up, right? As soon as you start to kind of go off that line, you push straight down with your hands. That opposite force of the floor pushes your shoulders in this direction. And then the rest of your body is going in this direction. And there's this kind of loss of energy at the joints. So we really want those forces to kind of transfer easily through the body, which is why we want that straight line. So the next exercises we're going to do, we're going to really focus not just on trying to get in a straight line, but trying to feel the force travel down that straight line. So let's jump to the wall. So what we're going to do on the wall is, I want you to place your hands at about butt height. So I'm just kind of measuring where my butt is. So I'm going to place my hands about here. And then I'm going to try and get my body in a straight line. So I'm going to try and get my hands, my shoulders, and my butt in a straight line. You can bend your knees if you want. And then when I push straight into the wall, it's like I'm trying to actually move the entire wall that direction. I want to feel that force push me in this direction. And I want to feel that travel down my body. So that's the goal. It's not just getting in the position. It's getting in the position and then feeling that force. So I want to have my shoulders in line with my hands. I want to have my head in line with my arms. I want to pull my ribs down. I want to try and get my butt in that line. And then when I push, I'm pushing into the wall. I want to try and feel that force moving down my body and moving my butt as far away from the wall as I can. Now, there might be rounding in your back. Okay, you probably notice I have a bit of rounding in my upper back. All these things are fine. We're not going to get necessarily into the perfect line, but it's about trying to really feel that straight line and feel the direction of the force. Okay, so I'm going to come and have a look at you guys. I want you to just push. You're going to hold for about 30 seconds, which will be a lot of work. And then relax. We'll go a couple of times on this one. Susanna, your butt is higher. Move your arms up a little bit. Arms higher. Don't push down with your shoulders. Move your hands up. Yeah, that's it. Don't push your shoulders down. Okay, everyone pause for a second. So what I was saying to Susanna, so she's setting up, and I was trying to adjust her hands so they were hip height. She's getting her hands hip height, and then she's doing this. All right, I'm exaggerating, but she's pushing her shoulders this way. All right, you don't want any force on your shoulders in that direction. There's already gravity going in that direction, so you're already having to resist that, right? If you're pushing, if you're in your handstand and you do a sideways push of your shoulders, you're going to fall down, right? So just let your body get into the positions that it's able to get into. Don't force any positions. So once you set up here and you've got your hands and your butt are about the same height, right? Just push in this direction. You don't need to do this, okay? Set your shoulders where they need to be, in line with your hands, and then just push in this direction, okay? So let's try again. Erica, that's looking great. Really good. Much better, Susanna. And hopefully that feels better on your shoulders. That's it, Manuela, really nice. Good, really try and push the heel of your hands into the wall, Manuel. There you go, that's it. Sit, Sarah, I'd move your hands down a little bit, Sarah, because your shoulders right now are a bit lower than your hands. Look between your hands on the wall. That's it. And notice whether your shoulders are the same height as your hands. It's a different camera angle, so I'm not sure, but it looked like things are a little bit offline. That's really good, Laura. Now just peek between your hands on the wall. That's it, perfect. Beautiful line. Eat dinner off your back there. That's really great. Sherry, your hands may maybe be a little low. Move your hands a little, even higher. Move your hands higher. There we go. Now, yeah, and don't push down. Push your butt back. There you go. That's it. Nice, good. Really nice. Helgi, that's great. That's really good. Okay, rest there. Those are good. I just wanted to see everyone because it's really not an easy one. And it's one that I'm always hesitant to demonstrate because I know mine isn't perfect. When I teach workshops, I usually get Reen to demonstrate it because she's actually better at getting into that straight horizontal line than I am. And I can kind of tweak her if she's not. Whereas when I'm doing it, I do tend to kind of round my back and my elbows hyperextend. So I can, if your elbows do hyperextend, you can never get a completely stacked straight line all the way up your arms because you've got that angle there. Okay, so there's always going to be something a little bit not perfect. So yeah, that's why. Don't worry if it's perfect, but do film it because it will help you make adjustments like, oh, I didn't realize my hands were here, my butt was here. I didn't realize my hands were here, my shoulders were down here. Filming is really helpful. This next one we're gonna do is now a standing line drill. And the band again gives us that feedback as to, am I stacked? So you're gonna stand on the band and your feet are gonna be together. But you want to make sure the band is not like just tucked under your toes or tucked under your heels because you don't want it pinging out and hitting you in the face. So you've got the band right underneath you. You're gripping shoulder width apart. Okay. You're starting with ribs down, butt tucked. You're going to grab the band, keep it close to your body and press it overhead. And notice how I kind of turn my hands. So my wrists are this way and then I just push it up. Shimmy over so you can see my hands. So you'll notice my elbows hyperextend. So that's not completely straight, but I'm trying to get as straight as I can. And you can see the band kind of goes up the middle of my leg. It goes up the middle of my torso. And from here, what I'm going to try and do is push the band up towards the ceiling. Right? Now, what you'll notice is if the band's here, it's a lot of work. It's going to try and pull your arms down. If the band's back here, again, it's going to pull you into that arch. So you should feel if you're in a stacked position because it'll feel a lot easier. It'll feel like the band is just kind of pulling on your body and your bones being stacked or resisting that. So let's give this a try. Hold it for like at least 30 seconds, if not 60 seconds, to really get a good feel for it. I just really want to see everyone do this. So you might have to do a few reps.
Do you want to see the side view?
I would love to see the side view. Yes, Cameron, thank you. Erica, that's fantastic, really nice. Perfect, Ingrid. So Sherry, tuck your butt more, pull your ribs back. Okay, everyone rest for a second. So one thing to be mindful of is, so when you're standing here, get totally side on, you want this way, right? So this can be straight and here, or it can be straight and here, right? But you want it stacked vertically. So one thing, so because Sherry has flexible shoulders, probably more so than me, she's got her ribs down. I'm totally exaggerating this, Sherry. This is not the position you're in, but this is an exaggerated version of the position you're in. Your shoulders are in overextension. Your body is completely straight. Your ribs are down, your butt's tucked, but it's not stacked. And when you do this, you'll feel a lot of pressure in this part of your back, okay? And if you can go from here and actually like, okay, bring my arms back so they're in that stack position, and now ribs down, butt tucked, and I'm a little more vertical. Okay, so rather like this is straight, but you also want it vertical. Okay, so let's try again. That's it, Charlie. Push, yeah, push the band up towards the ceiling. Absolutely perfect. This is one where being very flexible can actually make the drill a little even harder. Manuel, that's fantastic. Really nice line. Really strong. That's good, Antonio. I love it. Okay, let's see, Sherry. Where are you? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Sorry. So Sherry and I pull your arms forward a little bit. Pull your ribs back a little bit. Pull the ribs. Yeah, there you go. That's better. Does that feel different? Hopefully it feels different. Hopefully it feels better, but if it doesn't, that's fine as well. It's new things might not always feel better. Good, Susanna. Okay, relax. This is another one where filming yourself can be helpful. Eventually, you know, you will be able to feel when it's in the stack position because it'll feel so much easier. And it'll feel like you'll be able to feel like, oh, this actually feels much more efficient. But it's a good one to film when you're doing it. We're gonna do some handstands now. So we're gonna do the same thing upside down. So chest to wall handstand, you're gonna get into that position and I want you to push and try and move your feet up the wall. So the intention of your push is not to, you know, as I was saying when we were doing this one, you don't want to be pushing your shoulders down. You want to be pushing your shoulders away from the floor, straight up. So we're going to get in that chest to wall handstand and your goal is to slide your feet up the wall. So even if your hands are further out from the wall or whether your hands are close, either way, your objective is push your feet up the wall. So okay, so I'm coming to here. I just want to think about pushing my feet up the wall and feeling that force go up through my body. Now, if I'm in this position, like this, with my shoulders coming in this direction, right? It's really hard for me to think about sliding my feet up the wall. So this direction, right? That's the push. Let's take a look. Beautiful, Manuel. Really nice line. Ingrid, that's looking really nice. It's improving every week. It's really good. It's nice, Sarah. Once you pull the ribs in, pull it in and hold it there. Yeah, don't let that position disappear. So keep that position. Laura, that was really nice. So Sherry, try and do the same thing you were doing with the standing line drill here. Move your shoulders further away from the wall. That's it. Now tuck your butt a little more and pull your ribs in. Push your feet up the wall. That's it. I know it's really hard to keep the shoulders forward and then push up, but that's what you need to work on. That's it, Antonio. Really try and pull the ribs in. That, oh wow, that was good. That moved like 2 inches. It's really nice. You're gonna do 3 reps of this each. So 1 rep, rest as much as you need to, and then go again. Good, Susanna. That's looking good. Now push and feel your shoulders move up away from the floor. That's it. Really nice. Erica, that's looking really good. I would try and get a little more, pull your ribs down a little more and feel that connection in your core. Good. So Erica, you do a really good job of tucking your butt and squeezing it really hard. But then there's a little bit of looseness here because I feel like you're not pulling this down as much as you could using the muscles here. So if you think about your ribs and then pulling down here and just feeling when you do that, how much engagement you have through this part of your body, right? So from here, that pull down and you get everything kind of turns on here. And then you don't need as much tucking of the butt when you have that pull down. So really try and feel this next time, even if you're not doing as much tucking of the butt. Hope that makes sense. Cool. Good, Helgi. I just caught the end, Cameron. Was looking good though. Oh, you're going up again. Yeah, that's really nice. Really good. And that's looking really good from what Gail pointed out to you. This is looking really good in that overhead position. So that's really good. Has everyone done 3? Do thumbs up if you've done 3. Fantastic.
I'm starting to think that I lose it when I get tired, you know?
Oh yeah, no, probably most likely. A lot of things when we get tired, you know, we kind of change our form a little bit or we lose that really good form. And sometimes that's okay. You know, like if you're doing something and, you know, when you get tired, you can't always have the perfectest, the most perfect form. So it's totally fine as long as you know, are working with the intention of doing it with that form. And then eventually that will become, you know, easy for you and you'll be able to do it even when you are tired. Let's start doing some scissor exercises on the wall. So if you're not comfortable yet with bailing or going over, you're going to keep one foot on the wall. And if you are comfortable, then you're going to try to find that balance. So with our hands a little bit further from the wall, we're going to bring one leg into that stacked position. Now, when you're in that stacked position, same thing. You want to feel everything in that line. So ribs down, butt tucked, right? Shoulders stacked over your hands, and then push and feel the push as if, I like to imagine that there's something above my foot that I'm trying to touch. And so it could be, you know, you're trying to touch the ceiling, you're trying to touch someone's hand if they place it there. Just think about having that direction of your foot. For me, that really helps. So you're setting up a little bit away from the wall, okay? And then I bring my shoulders. I can see that my shoulders are stacked over my hands. So by looking at the floor, right, I can tell my shoulders are not back here and they're not over here, okay? That's really hard on one arm. So I can feel they're stacked. And then finding the hip position, bringing one leg, and then thinking about this foot, reaching it up towards the ceiling. Now, if I can feel balance in this position, I can bring my legs together, but if not, it's fine to just stay here and just work on trying to get as tall as you can. Okay, so same thing, about 3 to 5 reps of this exercise. Alternate which leg you bring off the wall if you're doing it that way. Beautiful, Helgi, really nice. Nice, Sarah. That was a really good hold. So that's it, Susanna, that's really good. What I want you to try and do next time is don't worry about, I don't mind if, I'm going to show you. So I don't mind, I know don't feel confident and safe yet to bring your shoulders and your hips stacked over your hands. But if you don't do that, I don't want you to bring your foot over here. So what you're doing right now is you're here, right? Your shoulders and your hips are a little closer to the wall, but you're bringing your foot here. So what this does is it brings you out of alignment. So if you're not bringing your shoulders and hips forward, just bring your leg to there, right? Only when you bring everything stacked will your foot point towards the ceiling, okay? Because right now you're doing this, and what that's doing is it's just bringing you into a line that you don't really want to be in. So if you bring that foot off the wall, make sure it's in line with the rest of your body.
Thank you.
Problem. That's it, Sherry. Good. That's much better, Susanna. Even less movement with the leg. Yeah, so really don't let the back arch when you move the leg. There you go. That's really good. Great, Sarah. That's it, Antonio. Really push yourself tall, even when you're freestanding. Yeah, that's it. Reach your toes up towards the ceiling. That's it. Nice. That's it, Laura. That's good. And reach that foot up towards the ceiling. Really nice. That's it. So in order to find that balance, just move your hips a little further from the wall, Laura, before you try and bring your foot off. So right now you've got your shoulders are stacked perfectly and your hips are just a little closer to the wall. So just bring your hips over and then it'll be much easier to bring that other leg off the wall. That's good. Okay, I see some wrists getting tired here. So let's take a little wrist break. So Let's do it in a lunge because it's my favorite. Hips facing forward, tuck your butt under, drive your hips forward. That nice stretch through there, that's going to help with your line. And then let's just stretch out the wrist. So grabbing below the little bone on your wrist and gently pulling your hand and then bending it back this direction. So just that gentle pull and stretch. And then switching sides. And switching legs. So we're going over to the other side. Tuck your butt under, press your hips forward. And then just do something else that feels good. So that could be another wrist stretch, could be some hand massage, could be some forearm massage. I just like doing this where I'm taking my fingers around my wrist and kind of rotating like this. And the other one that's really good actually, if you find a spot, if you kind of play around in your forearm and you find like, okay, I find that spot, it's usually right where my scar is, but I find a spot that's like, you know, feels like there's a knot or something there, just placing some pressure on it. So put some pressure on that and then move the hand around. So it could be just making circles, moving that around. And that's another really great way to work out some of those kinks in your forearms. Cool. Let's do some kick-ups. So we're working with alignment and kick-ups. So the key thing here is we want to build this tower from the ground up. So as you're kicking up, the most important thing on the way up is that you get your shoulders stacked over your hands, right? Because if your shoulders aren't stacked, when you try and get your hips and your leg in line, it doesn't really matter where they are because your shoulders aren't in the right position. So that's going to be your main focus, is kicking up and getting the shoulders where you want them to be. So from your setup position, you're here. As you kick up, it doesn't matter. You can start with your shoulders directly over your hands. And that's typically what I teach, but you can start with your shoulders a little further back as long as you bring them over your hands as you kick up. So from here, kicking up and feeling, no matter what your legs do, that your shoulders are stacked over your hands and that you're getting that push straight up. So you should always feel when you're doing a handstand that your shoulders are moving up away from the floor. So in your setup position, right, most weight here on your feet, but as you kick, the weight's going to come into your hands and you want to feel you're pushing your shoulders up and away from the floor. So you're pushing up and your shoulders are stacked perfectly. Now, a great way to know if your shoulders are stacked, right? If you're peeking at your hands, okay, you can see where your shoulders are, right? So I can't see my actual shoulder, but I can see this part of my shirt, right? So I can see this and I can see my hand. So I can tell where my shoulders are with respect to my hand. If I kick up and my shoulders are here, the part of the floor that I'm seeing is here, right? And I can look here, but I have to really keep my head up and then I can't see my arms, right? If I want to see my whole arm down my hand, I have to be looking, right? I'll be looking right here. So I need to keep my shoulders stacked. If my shoulders are too far forward, okay, again, I can't see that line. So it's really easy to know where your shoulders are if you're looking at that point between the floor, between your hands. So as I kick up, right, I have that stacking. And then once I'm up, I'm trying to push my feet up towards the ceiling. If you're on the wall, okay, once you get up, push your feet towards the ceiling and try to get a little bit of air time. Let's do it. On my notes, I have 5 to 15 reps. I don't know if we'll get that many, but this is the last handstand drill we're going to do, and then we'll have some conditioning for you guys. Nice, Charlie. Beautiful balance, really good. That was great. That was great, Erica. I don't know why you stepped down. That was good. It was really nice. That's it, Cameron. I can see you pushing into that straight line. That's really good. It's nice. That was looking good, Susanna. That was nice, Ingrid. Just once you're up in the handstand, just go nice and slow. So leg movements nice and slow once you're up. Good, Sarah. Get more, once you find the balance, more of that vertical push. So more of the push in that straight up direction, trying to get your foot towards the ceiling. You've got good balance. It's really good. That's it, Laura. I peek at the floors. Yeah, that's great shoulder position. Really good. Nice hold. That was great. Yeah, when your body's in that stacked position, you'll start to feel that balance. It's really cool. Oh, Sherry, that was, I don't know if the cat was helping or not. I thought he was trying to knock you down, but then it seemed to help you stay up a little. That's it, Helgi. Really lock out those arms. Push, reach the feet up to the ceiling. Okay, Manuel, I've not seen yours in a while. Let's take a look. That's great. Now push your feet up towards the ceiling. Up. Good effort. Antonio, pause for 1 second. As you set up to push up, right, I want you to make sure when your hands are, as soon as your hands go on the floor, you're pushing, right? You're getting that good lock out of your elbows and pushing into the floor, getting that good push through the shoulders. Because right now, there's that little bit kind of relaxed here. And so as you kick up, I'm exaggerating, but it sinks even deeper. So if you can really lock that out in the setup and get that strong push, then as you kick up, it's gonna look a lot stronger.
It's at my left arm, right? The bend.
I'm not sure. I didn't really notice what the one more than the other.
Because my left trap is hurting from pushing, I think.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I think I'm bending a bit, because when I'm balancing, I'm a bit crooked.
Okay. Well, let's give it a try, focusing on that setup. If it's painful, then obviously make adjustments. But if you can do that pain-free, and then I'll give you some exercises for that trap. That's better. That's much better. I know it's harder to find balance right now because you're used to a lot doing that bend, but that's going to be a lot stronger, that position. That's really cool. Cameron, that's looking fantastic. Oh, almost made you the host. There we go. Nice. Okay, let's play with some movement for conditioning stuff. It's not really conditioning. I shouldn't call it conditioning. I should just call it play. So some of you may have done this movement before, especially if you've done any animal flow stuff. So it's basically a kick through in animal flow lingo, I think. And the basic idea is your shoulders are stacked over your hands, you're kicking one leg through, and then you jump, kick the other leg through. Now, the important thing here, today our focus is on alignment. The important thing as you do this is your shoulders stay stacked over your hands, right? And this leg is nice and extended in this direction. So the alignment is you're pointing towards that wall over there. And then when I switch, I jump, this shoulder is over this hand, and I push to here. So it's really common, people will do this like this, which puts a lot of strain on your shoulder and your elbow. If you can keep good alignment, it's much easier. So we're just gonna try this, right? So the position is here, your hands on your hands and your feet. You're just turning, pointing that foot that way, coming back and here. So you can start just stepping like this, focusing on the position of your shoulder. So let's have a look. Nice, Antonio, good. That's it. The other thing to be aware of, right? I was talking about keeping your shoulders stacked here, right? But you want to think about it being stacked here as well. So a lot of you are doing this, which again is really hard. Just bring your hands and feet closer together and make sure the shoulder stays over here. It's all about making it easier. Good. And look at your foot. Now, if you're feeling that shoulder alignment, then look at the foot. Good. Okay, pause for 1 second. We're going to add, if you feel comfortable, I want you to add the jump in. So we're going to here, but then to come back, I want you to jump. So there's that little jump in the middle from here to here. And then if you're feeling fancy, you can jump your butt right up. So let's just do a couple because we're going to do this for time. That's it, Erica. Nice. Jump up and switch. Yeah, perfect. Nice, Ingrid. Really cool. That's it, Manuela. Okay, let's rest. We're just going to do 2 rounds of this. Let's see, how long do we have? I'm going to do 4 rounds. Okay, let me set up my timer. So we're going to do 20. Okay, we're doing 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest. And we'll do, I don't know, 4 rounds. So you're going to do 20 seconds of work, and then you get 10 seconds of rest. Okay, so we're just doing these kick throughs. So we have a countdown: 5, 4, 3, and go. So we're going kick through. Make it feel easy. The more the better your alignment, the easier this feels. Nice. And rest. Good. So get 10 seconds rest. Shake out your wrist. Don't feel you have to jump if you don't want to. Go whatever variation you need to. Let's go, round 2. Nice. Good, and rest. So this round, a few of you are doing this, so you've obviously done some animal flow before, but as you kick through, this arm, bring back to here. Okay, so just pull that back. Let's go, round 3. Yeah, that's good, Laura. There we go. Oh, Manuela, that looks really good. And rest. That's good, Antonio, really cool. We've got one more round. And let's go, last one. That's it, Sarah, that's great. And rest, fantastic. Okay, let's finish up there. We'll stretch out our wrists. So I'm just gonna pull my mat back. So the thing I like about some of those movements is it really is all about alignment, but it's more dynamic alignment because you're moving, and each part of the movement has a slightly different position that's the most efficient. And part of it's just finding that position for you, like finding what feels easy. And so if you're in one of these positions and you're like, this feels super hard on my shoulder, or this feels really hard on my elbow, like, can you adjust to a position where it feels easy, or where it feels easier, or it feels more comfortable? And with a lot of exercises, that's really what it's about. Like, can I vary my hand position or my foot position or my hip position so that this feels like it's efficient, that it feels like my alignment is better? Even just standing, right? Like, people talk about like good posture. And posture is dynamic, right? So you're gonna be moving around and it's gonna be different every position. But if you're standing like this is my, when I was a kid, all the pictures of me, I'm standing like this. But like, it feels like there's lots of pressure on my lower back here. And so it's like, well, what can I do in terms of my position to take that pressure off? Like, I can move my hips back. I can, not stick my butt out so much. I can bring my ribs down. I can relax my upper body, and just finding positions where it's like, actually, now that feels a lot more efficient. So it can just be as much simple as playing around with your alignment to find what feels good. Let's stretch out our wrists. So our hand on your yoga block. So back of your hand, just the wrist hanging slightly over the edge, and then shoulder stacked right over the hand, and just let that heel of your hand drop. So you guys had some really nice handstands today. I saw some really good lines, and then when some of you were balancing, it looked like there was a lot easier for you guys to balance when you had that good alignment. So hopefully you guys felt that as well, because it looked really good. And switching sides. Another great exercise, which is really hard to set up, but if you guys have the ability to set this up, it's really cool, is if you can actually find something. We were doing some of those exercises like the band drill and the wall drill, where we're actually pushing into something and it gives you that bit of feedback. If you can find something that's exactly the height of your handstand, doing your handstand and pushing your feet into that is really great. Even just having a partner stand with like their hand above your feet. So their hand here, your feet are pushing into the hand. it gives you that feedback of like, this is the direction I want to push my feet. I'm gonna share one thing with you, because a doorway can be really good. Okay, so one thing I can do, I have to use the canes because it's the only way I can reach the ceiling. So I can touch the ceiling. Now it's not perfect height because I have to flex my feet a little bit, but if I push, I can feel my feet pushing straight up into the ceiling. And so the feedback there can really help give you an idea of like the direction of the push, where straight up is. And I think that can be really, really helpful. Low basements are good as well. So if you find something that's the right height, then it can be really cool. The feet back, nice, Cameron. Good. Okay. Great job, everyone. Any questions before we finish up? We're only 2 minutes over. No, we're all good. Okay, great job, everyone. Hopefully you guys learned something there. Your handstands are looking really good, so I was very impressed. Great job.
That was great. Thanks, Christy.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
great job. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Everyone.
See you soon in
Bye.
handstand building blocks.
Oh yeah.